Wow, I'm uncomfortable with that thought. But those are the types of thoughts that I have, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
You are saying what other people think, Pete, and that's why we're all listening. You got to go out on those limbs, or why listen to you?
I love you, man. That's a great thing to say. Listen, as an improviser and looking for patterns and stuff like that, is there a spiritual side? I'm interested in this karma thing. I'm interested in this idea that you're an atheist, but you're dabbling in pattern recognition.
Yeah, I watched the show Touch with Kiefer.
I watched the pilot.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of dig that is very improv-y, that whole concept of numbers and strings
Yes. Why does the show Touch resonate? It's such a like simple
things
idea.
Connect. It's funny to connect things.
Yeah.
And connecting like things is going back to what I was saying earlier. You have a setup and you draw an analogy or metaphor and go to that. That's the same thing with connecting things. You're going, see this thing way over here and this thing, they have this thing in common.
Right.
And sometimes that produces a laugh pointing that out.
Right.
Or it's at very least interesting.
Or it makes you feel, like what I feel like Touch did is they took Lost, the idea of Lost and meaning and everything being meaningful, and just took it off the island and put it in a real world. And they're like, what if everything meant something? That's what we want. That's what we yearn for. I go on a walk. So I'm on my old man respect walk this morning, and I'm just kind of like listening to some music, and I'm going uphill, and I made eye contact with two dogs that were peeing. And that is how
dogs don't like to make eye contact.
Well, these dogs. So I wouldn't notice it. The first time I noticed it because it's funny. I saw a big fuck off dog lift up his leg and just like a human sized dick just streaming urine onto the grass. And the dog looked at me like right at me, and I go, that's kind of weird. But I'm the kind of person that goes, it's a dog looking at me kind of day. Just like on Duncan's, I'm like, it's a baby smiling at me kind of day. I noticed that sort of stuff. I'm like, that dog looked right at me while it was pissing. It was kind of funny. And then I'm walking, and not 10 minutes later, another dog taking a hot piss looked right at me. And I was like, that's all it takes.
Isn't it weird when you...
hungry for that stuff that I'm like...
Isn't it weird when you learn a word, like you're reading a book, and you come across a word that you don't know, and you look it up, like you're like, I've never even heard that word. Yeah. And you look it up, you learn it, and then the next 2 weeks, you hear that word like 3 times.
Right.
And you're like, I never knew that word. Now I know it. Yes. Now I'm hearing it all the time.
Yes. Isn't that weird? So you like looking for patterns and stuff
Love
like
it.
that?
I like the Illuminati, which is...
I was just going to say, when you were saying no religious symbols on government things, I'm like, what about the fucking $1 bill, man? That shit's religious as fuck.
Oh, it's so much fun, all that kind of stuff.
You like that stuff?
Connections.
33 feathers on that eagle, man.
When I was doing this religious show, I became obsessed with cutting out any article on religion, and I pasted them up on this big cardboard wall, and then like a lunatic, like a crazy fucking
this is run-of-the-mill
Touch guy. I'm underlining words from different articles, and like this connects to this, and this is going. I'm not crazy like I'm seeing conspiracies.
Yeah,
but I'm just seeing patterns in religion, you know, and just.
That's fun, man.
And it was only me. I wasn't showing it to anyone else. It was kind of crazy, man.
Right.
I did it, and I was like, this was something. Even now, when I read an article, it's hard for me not to cut it out. I'm not doing the show anymore. I'm like, I want to obsess on this religion article because I don't want to lose the pattern.
Look, man, that's how I pass the time in my day. Or sometimes I'll do it when I'm hanging out with people. I was just hanging out with a couple friends of mine. I was like, hey, we're going out tonight. Let's count the serendipities. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it. And, like, I'll count anything. That's how I start. I'll count anything. The girl said, this looks like a sidewalk. It's not big enough for 2 people, but it's big enough for a man and a dog. And then we turned the corner, and there was a man and a dog. That's not a good one. But I count it. Because it's like improv. You get momentum. You go, that counts. Serendipity number 1. By the end of the night, I think we had 15. They weren't necessarily all great, but, like, it's fun to look for them. It literally passes the time.